Hey, I'm Alicia, your non-monogamous relationship coach. Welcome to the podcast where my friends and I chat about our relationships, enthusiastic non-monogamy, polyamory, swinging, kink, and our lives. You'll get a candid peek into what makes it worth it to live life outside the box. And in case you're still wondering, nope, we're not monogamous. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Nope, We're Not Monogamous. Today we have an exceptional guest joining us, someone whose life and work shine a light on the multifaceted world of non-monogamy. Growing up in a household where non-monogamy was the unspoken norm, Lesley Tavernier brings a unique perspective to relationships and personal growth. Her own journey has been a testament to the transformative power of radical responsibility and embracing one's true desires, which I know you guys have heard me talk about. So let me add that Lesley isn't just navigating the non-monogamous path, she's also guiding others as a love coach, specializing in helping women transform anxious attachment and love addiction into personal power. Through the alchemy of intimately relating with a wild, often non-monogamous man, Lesley empowers individuals to unlock their full potential in love and life. Today, you're in for a treat. Lesley's compassionate and understanding approach to coaching and their wealth of knowledge are valuable for anyone seeking personal growth, increased happiness, and authenticity in their relationships. So whether you're new to non-monogamy or a seasoned explorer, Lesley's take might just leave you feeling empowered and confident in embracing your own non-traditional path to love and fulfillment. And before we dive into this conversation, I want to take a moment to mention something special. Our podcast thrives with the support of our incredible Patreon community. If you're finding value in our episodes and want to get even closer to the Nope, We're Not Monogamous experience, consider becoming a Patreon supporter. You'll unlock exclusive perks and behind-the-scenes content, all while helping me continue to bring you these meaningful conversations. Just head over to patreon.com/notmonogamous to join our wonderful Patreon family. Enjoy. That's the button.
Awesome.
All right. So, first, welcome to Nope, We're Not Monogamous. I'm super happy you're here and I'm excited to talk to you and hear about your work and experiences with non-monogamy. Yeah. So I always love to start with, like, could you share a little bit about your personal journey into the world of non-monogamy, or what drew you to explore the relationship styles?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in it. It wasn't, I didn't grow up with parents that were officially non-monogamous. They like ENM wasn't part of the thing.
Right.
So they were unofficially non-monogamous. So my father, he was a man whore, for lack of a better term. And so I was his first child, but then he went on to have 5 other kids with like 3 other women besides my mother. So he was never monogamous, but he if you were to ask him right now if he's monogamous, he'll say yes. And my mother, she has been with a married man for 30 years now, over 30 years. I don't even know if he ever divorced his wife. And again, if you were to ask my mother or my stepdad if they believe in monogamy, they would say yes.
Yeah.
But they've never actually like practiced it.
Yeah.
So that's how I started. I grew up in Catholicism and Christianity, and religion and what society was telling me was monogamy is the way. But in my household, in my family, I wasn't really seeing monogamy.
Yeah.
So that's where it started for me.
That's fascinating. I feel like probably a lot of people, if they look back at their childhood, could relate. Right? Like, oh, I know as an adult, I look back and went, oh, that's who that was.
Yeah. So it was confusing because it's like, why are you teaching me monogamy, but you're not doing monogamy? But they back then they didn't even know the word polyamory.
Yeah.
That didn't even exist. I didn't know that word until I became an adult.
Yeah. Yeah. I learned it about 10 years ago. It's like, what? What is this? No, I don't want anything to do with that. That's weird. Now look at me.
Yeah, now it's a much, much, much more common term, but yeah, a lot of people don't know. They still don't know.
Yeah.
About polyamory.
Yeah, totally. So, growing up, this is happening, and then have you personally always been non-monogamous, or how'd you feel that out?
Okay. So, yeah, when I started dating, I assumed that monogamy was going to be the thing.
Yeah.
But pretty much every guy that I dated was cheating on me. And so I was like, I mean, at first I was, really angry and all of that. But then eventually I started saying to them, like, to each one, serial monogamy, why don't you just tell me the truth? Yeah. Like, why are we doing this? Like, why are you lying? Why don't you just say, I have multiple girlfriends? Like, why do we have to go through this crap? And so that also contributed to my journey, because I'm just like, why doesn't anyone want to tell the truth? Yeah. This doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense. And then, okay, then I got into a monogamous relationship, like an actual strict monogamy, and had 2 kids. And we were together for 11 years. It was strict monogamy. Yeah. And then I found out that I didn't want to do monogamy anymore. Yeah. Because I found myself attracted to other men. So I'm really summarizing a very long story into a few minutes.
I feel that. Similarly, I was married monogamously for 13 years, had 2 kids, and then was like, wait, what am I doing? This is silly. For me. Not for everyone, but for me. This isn't working.
Yeah. And it was hard because people think that, like cheating is like something that men do, men that want to go outside the relationship. But in my case, I wanted to go outside of the relationship. And I told the truth. I told my spouse the truth. And we ended up like arguing a lot. Yeah. Because I didn't know polyamory, I didn't know any of these terms. I was just trying my best to explain to him what I was feeling. And he couldn't understand. Yeah. And so we ended up separating. Because we didn't know how to even have an openly and ethically non-monogamous relationship. We'd never even seen that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no good example. I mean, we're getting more examples, but there haven't been a lot.
At that time, it was like, at the time when I was getting close to my breakup, that was when the scandal with Tiger Woods came out. And everybody was talking about Tiger Woods, like how could he do this to his wife? Yeah. And then I came across a woman on YouTube who was in an open marriage. And I heard her saying, like, Tiger Woods is innocent. And I was like, what? Tiger Woods is innocent? What do you like? And that just took me down a rabbit hole. And then I got involved. Eventually, I got involved with a married man who is in an open marriage. And I'm still with him now.
Ooh. I love that. I love that. Oh, so I'm curious how your work as a coach, did that come before or after this opening
after.
up?
After. I had no idea I would even want to do coaching. Like coaching didn't really even exist. Like online coaching didn't exist back then, the way it is now. So that developed after, because I eventually came to realize that like there isn't, like, most relationship coaches coach within the context of monogamy. So there wasn't much available. Like for me, looking for a coach, like that was a difficult thing because everything was about monogamy. And I'm like, I'm not doing monogamy. I'm not with a monogamous man. So how are you going to coach me?
Yeah. 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 I similarly, I hear so much of the relationship advice out there. It's really funny because so much of the relationship advice out there is so focused on monogamy and so focused on monogamy as a way to create security. However,
Mhm.
all of the relationship advice that I give and that you are giving is just good relationship advice, regardless of this, like monogamous, non-monogamous, is just good, healthy relationship advice,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
not necessarily the other way around.
It is, but it's important. It's important to make the distinction because, again, like the kind of advice that I would give to somebody who is dating a married man who isn't telling his wife about her, that's going to be different from a coach that's within the box of monogamy. The coach
Yeah.
that it believes in monogamy is going to tell her, you need to leave him.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be messing with a married man.
Yeah.
In fact, I just saw a clip the other day of Iyanla Van Zant, whatever, however you pronounce it, and she was coaching a woman who had an affair with a married man and is pregnant with his child, and she just like totally slut shamed that woman.
Mm. Hmm. Yeah. That's hard. That's especially hard for someone who, like, regardless of how they come into this situation, they're looking for help, like
Mhm,
support, right?
mhm.
So I'm curious, how would you I'm actually very curious about this. How would you coach someone
Okay.
who is dating a married man and like his wife doesn't know?
Wife doesn't know. I
Yeah.
mean, I get it. My mom did it,
Yeah.
you know. Um, First of all, I let them know you're innocent and he's innocent. Okay.
Yeah.
Because if you're holding on to guilt and I'm a bad girl and shame and all that crap, um, you're not really going to get anywhere. So
Mhm.
you got to let go of the guilt and the shame. And I'm a bad girl. Let go of that, and then maybe we can start to get somewhere. We can start to have real conversations. And maybe, just maybe, he might tell the truth to his wife. But it's going to start with you being in integrity with yourself
Mhm.
and telling the truth to yourself. I love this man and I know he's married,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and feel good about that.
I love that integrity with self. I wonder if that's where a lot of people get caught up. Um, like in the like, do I tell them? Do I not tell them? If I see someone else who's doing this, do I say anything? And a lot of people don't know what the right thing is to do. And so
Yeah.
I love this, like being in integrity with yourself.
Mhm. Yeah, it's like people aren't bad
Yeah.
for, loving somebody who is already married. Like that's not a bad thing. It's just that this society, this civilization is structured in such a way that unless you're doing monogamy, you're considered bad or there's something wrong with you. But there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just a structure
Yeah.
that has you believing that you're bad or wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder, the thought that comes to mind for me right now is the idea of, like, ethical non-monogamy.
Mhm.
What are ethics, and where do they come from, and what structure are they? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
who decides what is ethical? And then
Mm.
what culture, something that's ethical in one culture may not be, maybe unethical in another culture. And so it's like,
Yeah,
it's not an inherent, we're not born with this knowledge of what's right.
totally.
So
Totally. And that's the thing. Yeah, who decides what's ethical? Because like I've had so many women like that follow my page say to me that like they want their man to tell them the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Like, if you are attracted to other women, if you're sleeping with another woman, if you want to sleep with another woman, I want you to tell me. But like, I don't really believe those women.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes when you hear the truth, you really can't handle the truth.
Yeah.
Especially when your spouse comes to you and says, you know what, I want to sleep with someone else. A lot of people can't handle that truth.
Yeah.
Yet they'll say, I want nothing but the truth.
Yeah.
No, you don't. You don't really want the truth.
I want the truth if it's the one that I think that I want him to say.
Correct. Correct. So if he comes to you and he says, you know what, I enjoy looking at porn every day. And I go to the strip club and I pay for sex workers. Do you want to hear that?
Right.
Most women don't.
Mm-mm. I wonder why.
Because then they immediately get insecure. Wait a second. Does she fuck you better than me? You know, is her pussy better than mine? Is she prettier than me? Is she better than me? It must be that, because why do you want to have sex with her? There must be something better than her than me.
Yeah.
Like our mind immediately goes there. Like, something must be wrong with me, or something must be better about her for him to want to have sex with her.
Mm.
And that's not necessarily the case.
No, that is such a monogamous mindset of like, I must be the best choice in the whole world. And same when we're looking for partners, right? I have to pick the very best one. I have to choose the best one. If things don't work out, then I clearly didn't pick the best one, right?
Correct.
And so they must be the best in the whole wide world. Otherwise, it was wrong, or there's something wrong with me.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Totally.
And that's impossible to overcome.
Yeah.
Not to overcome, but to have work.
We're in serious denial as a society, as a collective. From what I have heard, Pornhub is the #1 website in the world. Okay, Pornhub.
Yeah.
So like I don't know. I think a lot of women are seriously naive if they think that their man only wants sex with them and only them for the rest of his life. Like, that's naivety.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And vice versa. I never wanted that.
I thought I would want that. I thought I would. But I ended up not. I ended up like still wanting to have sex with other men.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we're like human animals with animal desires.
Amazing. Well, I mean, my thing was a little bit different. Like, even though I was in a committed relationship, I didn't know how to enjoy sex. So I was like numb, sexually numb. And as I wrote about in one of my posts, which triggered a whole lot of women, which is how you found me, I said it was a non-monogamous man, and I knew he was non-monogamous. And he ignited me.
Yeah.
Like, my libido came alive just from being around this man.
Yeah.
And he was most definitely non-monogamous.
Yeah. What did you call that? A wild man?
Yeah, that's a term I like to use. Now I'm saying dark masculine. It changes from time to time.
I like them both.
But yeah, like sometimes, a lot of times, the man that a woman is most sexually attracted to isn't Mr. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. People have a hard time hearing that. They think like, no, if I really want to fuck him, he must be Mr. Right. That's not true. That's not true.
Why is that?
Because marriage and raising children it takes like a whole different skill set to fucking. Like, they're not the same thing.
Yeah.
So just because I'm totally wet for you that doesn't mean that you're going to be the best husband and father.
Mm.
And just because you're an amazing husband and father doesn't mean that I'm going to be totally wet for you, or that I'm always going to be wet for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't always go together. And in fact, many times they don't go together.
Yeah. Yeah. That is something that I work with a lot of people will come and say, you know, two things.
Mhm.
One, the fear, like my partner, my spouse is going to like somebody else better,
Mhm.
you know, be more attracted to somebody else. I want to do this because
Yeah.
I want the thing, but
Mhm.
also what if, right? But then the other thing that
Mhm.
happens is I'm so into my new partner that like
Mhm.
things are just shutting down sexually with my longer term partner, with the one I'm at home, like
Mhm.
making a house with, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Totally. Totally. That's so normal. Like
yeah,
that's so normal, you know,
yeah,
because with the new partner, you're getting the what do they call it? It's like a hormonal, like it's a hormonal rush.
yeah.
You know, it's a
All the brain
thrill.
drugs.
Yeah. So you feel high,
Yeah,
but he's not going to replace your long-term partner.
yeah,
You know, your long-term partner is not there to make you feel high.
yeah,
We have to understand that.
yeah. I love that. That's so good. How
Like you can't base. I mean, one thing that I do like about what do you call it? Arranged marriage, because I've
Mhm.
met couples that were their marriage was arranged. Um, they understand that marriage is about duty.
Mm,
It's not about passionate sex.
mm, fascinating. Yeah. I wonder like so many people have this, I mean, it's really media, right? We have these
Mhm.
stories that it's
Mhm.
everything, both and you
Mhm.
have all the passionate sex, all the compatibility, all of the
Mhm.
care and support, all of the
Mhm.
co-parenting, and he cooks and cleans
It's yeah.
and
Yeah.
uh
Oh yeah, and pays for everything
and
too,
pays for
because
everything.
he's rich.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's Disney. It's not real,
Yeah.
and that's the issue. Like we could have more love if we were more accepting of what is,
Mm.
instead of trying to have this fantasy of this perfect man and this perfect woman
Yeah.
for the rest of our lives. You know, your husband, he very well may find the other woman more sexually appealing than you, but that doesn't mean he doesn't love you.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean he doesn't value you. That doesn't mean that you're not the most important woman in his life.
Mm.
But we think it's importance is based on sex.
Yeah.
And that's just not true.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely do that. Like hold sex as like the standard,
Mhm.
like the measuring stick of what the value of the relationship or how good the relationship
Mhm.
is or how much love is
Yeah.
there.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
How do you recommend people shift that?
Oh man. I mean, that's a big question.
I know.
Oh, we gotta get like radically honest.
Yeah.
Radically honest. You know, when I was a sex worker, you know, I this people get pissed off when I say this, but it's true. 90% of my clients were married,
Yeah.
or they had a long-term committed girlfriend. So these weren't men that weren't getting sex. Though some were in a sexless marriage. But in every case, when I would ask them, you know, do you want to leave your wife? Do you want to divorce your wife? They were like, no. Why would I want to do that? I'm never leaving my wife.
Yeah.
So, I think a lot of men understand the difference. They may not be saying it publicly, because they want to protect their image and whatnot. But I think men do understand that just because I really want to fuck this woman, that doesn't mean that like she's my wife.
Mm. Yeah. Do you think there's a big difference between men and women when it comes to that?
To wanting to have sex outside of marriage.
Yeah.
Um, I think men feel less guilt and shame
Oh,
than
yeah.
women. Yeah,
That makes sense.
like, because I mean, the whole entire sex trade, I mean, it's very much dependent on men.
Yeah.
As recurring clients.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe they feel a little bit bad or a little bit of guilt, but that's not stopping them. Whereas I think women feel more like, oh, I'm being a slut. I'm no longer wife material.
What a mind fuck we've done to ourselves.
Majorly. It's insane.
Yeah, it really is. Like when you step out of it, right? When you're not all emotionally involved in it and you step back and you go, what's logical about this?
Mhm.
It's kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah. I embracing non-monogamy, polyamory, or open relating, whatever terms you want to use, has helped me to accept and love my parents more,
Mm, yeah.
because I grew up with this idea that like if you have like multiple baby mothers, you're a man whore
Mm-hmm.
and you're not to be respected. But like that's my father.
Yeah.
So I can't respect my father.
Right.
I have to hate my father.
Mm.
No, I'm not going to do that. And I'm not going to hate my mother. I love my parents. But unfortunately, they were raised in the mind fuck.
I'm so excited to see what our kids do with this. Like, I'm so excited to see the next couple of generations and how relationships shift. Like so
It'll be
excited for
really
it.
interesting. Yeah, because I didn't grow up with the internet and
Yeah.
smartphones and all of that.
Yeah.
Whereas now they have these youngsters, they have immediate and 24/7 access to porn and OnlyFans and all these other things. Like it's there in abundance.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it will be interesting to see how things turn out for the next generation.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll add, like, they have access to like community and support
Mhm,
of people who have similar thoughts, similar feelings, similar
mhm,
identities,
mhm,
like that we didn't
mhm.
have. It was conform,
Totally,
right? Like we were always trying to conform to whatever was around us, whatever was available to
totally,
fit into society, and they're able to just in
totally.
the palm of their hand create their own societies and their own cultures and their own
Yeah,
communities.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
That's really
It
exciting.
really is. It could go really
Like
good or really bad.
I mean, yeah, I could go both ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's changing. Like information is available like never before.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think we'll have more polyamory, non-monogamy, open relating. Like, I think we're gonna have a lot more of that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I love it. One of the things you said earlier that I absolutely loved was radical honesty. That like more of us
Mhm,
need to be radically honest. And we talk a lot about communication, especially working
mhm.
with relationships and communication,
Yeah.
communication, communication. And I always tell people like throw that word out the window because you don't know what it means. Like every couple comes to me
Oof.
and goes, "We need to work on our communication." I'm like, "Well, you just said that to me very clearly. You're communicating
Mhm,
fine."
mhm.
And now let's work on getting really honest.
Yeah. That's a tough one. I found that to be tough because just even in the online space, I came I came into this really naive. Like I just like from the beginning, I just like openly started talking about sex work and being with a married man and all these different things, just thinking people would just be interested. And I had to find out the hard way that, oh man, people don't want to hear this shit. Like this is super triggering.
Yeah. 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 It's wild. It's the first time I had someone like on social media, multiple people react to me in a really wild way, like
Mhm,
being
mhm,
upset with me for just talking about my
mhm.
life. It felt like
Yeah.
being in high school and being bullied. It was such a like
Oh,
such a contraction that I had to stop. I had to get off all of my phone, my
yeah.
computer. I had to spend a couple days like, wait, actually, I'm okay.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot because, and to receive that from women,
Mm,
like progressive minded women, spiritual women,
yeah.
the slut shaming is out of this
Mm,
world.
yeah. Yeah. It's really sad. It really is. I wonder, I want to ask you about jealousy. Right. I want
Okay.
to ask you about I don't know, your experience with jealousy how you navigate jealousy, how that comes up in your life. It's one
Um,
of the big ones, right?
yeah, monogamy really exacerbates jealousy.
Yeah.
Because when I was like, I think with my second boyfriend, so I was like 18 or 19, and I was at his apartment, and then he left for a while. He left me there by myself, and he said he'd be back in like 2 hours or whatever. So, I do what a lot of women do. I went through his stuff, know, and I found clear evidence that he had another girlfriend. And not only that, but that she was pregnant with his child.
Oh no.
And I fucking lost my mind. I completely vandalized his apartment.
Mm,
Luckily he didn't call the cops on me, but like that's what I learned. Like that's what I understood at the time, that if he's cheating on you, like you get to fuck him up.
right. Mm,
And I thought that was justified.
right.
This is around the time when like waiting to exhale was popular.
Oh yeah.
And the wife found that the husband was cheating, and then she put his whole car on fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, my understanding at the time was like, if he cheats, I get to fuck him up.
Hmm.
So I've evolved since then. I've
This was an
evolved. Oh my
opportunity for
God.
growth.
Mhm. Uh, yeah. I mean, when people find out they've been cheated on, they get ugly.
Yeah.
They get real ugly. Um, Now in polyamory doesn't solve jealousy. The jealousy is still going to happen in polyamory because we get caught up in comparisonitis.
Hmm.
So even though I was with a man who I knew had a wife and I knew had other girlfriends, um, I was still of the mindset that I'm competing with these women,
Yeah.
to be number one or number two, only to his wife. So that can be a shit show.
Yeah.
That can be a real shit show, because I learned that like love means that you better be number one or something's wrong with you.
Right.
If he's enjoying sex with his other girlfriend more than me, then what does that say about me?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not pretty enough. Maybe I'm not good enough in bed. Maybe I don't suck his dick good enough. Like, it's just all this comparisonitis happening. So the way to, I don't think you'll ever be able to totally put an end to jealousy, because I mean, we're humans, we feel things.
Yeah.
But the way to navigate it so that it doesn't fuck you up is to recognize that the only reason you're feeling this is because you're caught in comparisonitis. You're comparing yourself to another woman, or you're comparing yourself to another man, and you're coming up short in your mind.
Yeah.
You're coming up short.
Mm.
And instead of addressing that belief that you're coming up short, you want to attack somebody else. So why not deal with your own insecurity?
Mm.
Use jealousy as a catalyst to work on your insecurity, on your sense of unworthiness.
Yeah. Yeah. That's where it is. I love that. There's the comparison, and then the competition, the like, we're pitted against each other. I found
Ooh.
knowing the people that I think I'm competing with, the more I get to know them, the less I feel like I'm in
Mhm.
competition with them, the more I'm like,
Mm.
oh, we're here doing the
Mhm.
same thing. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
even the
yeah.
ones that I don't like
Sisterhood
a lot, I
helps.
still feel like,
Yeah.
if I'm like, I'm not going to be their best friend, but like, I can
Mhm.
relate. Like, I don't feel
Yeah,
competition anymore when I get to know them.
yeah. Well, for me, I still felt competition because I was a competitive bitch. Like, but I had a lot of self-esteem issues,
Yeah.
insecurities about my bedroom performance. So if I knew or sensed that this other woman is like way more orgasmic than me, like that was difficult for me to accept.
That was a hard button for me too.
Mhm.
Oh, she squirts. Cool.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm glad that that's your fantasy that I don't fulfill.
Mhm. Correct. Yeah. Yeah. It's confronting,
Uh-huh.
but eventually you come to realize that I don't have to be the best in bed.
Yeah.
I don't have to, like, that's just a narrative. Like, I don't have to be the best in bed.
Mm. For a long time, I would tell myself, like, I don't have to be the best at this. Actually, for me,
Mhm.
it was often, okay, I might not be the prettiest or the skinniest or the funniest, but I am the best in bed.
Mhm.
So I would soothe myself with that. Like, I'm pretty sure I am.
Okay.
Right.
Mhm.
Or, something else. If someone else had that, then I'd be like, but I'm way funnier. So
Mhm.
that's fine. It'll be fine. Right.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
found for a long time I would soothe those insecurities with, but I am the best in some
Mhm.
area, which
Mhm. Oh, for sure.
which
Yeah.
like also, it was like a good band-aid, right? Like this
Mhm.
temporary kind of soothing fix, but like
Mhm.
ultimately I'm not the best at anything ever in the whole world. Like there's always people who have something better. So I had to find like
Mhm.
I am perfectly exactly who I need to be for me,
Yes.
right?
Correct.
Like I am
Correct.
doing the best I can, and that better be good enough for
Mhm.
you.
Mhm. Yeah, he's choosing to be with you for a reason,
Yeah. Yeah.
so there's something about you that he's really into, but
Yeah.
it doesn't mean you're the best in every category.
Yeah.
Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, that's fun. Yeah, I have
Mhm.
always, that's one of the things I said. Like I knew I didn't want to be monogamous, but then I had to confront the jealousy and possessiveness that I've
Mhm.
always had
Mhm.
ever since the very first, I think I was like 12 when I had my first kiss. I was like,
Mm.
and now I am jealous and he's mine.
Yeah.
Well, that didn't
Yeah.
work.
I can imagine. Yeah, yeah, we use, like, monogamy. This is my opinion. I think that a lot of people, like, they base their self-worth on their ability to attract a monogamous partner.
Hmm.
So because I have actually had a client like this. Like, she was engaged to be married, and then like 2 months before the wedding, her fiance cheated on her. So they called the wedding
Hmm.
off. But one of the things that she said was that, like, him being strictly monogamous made her feel more high value because he only wants me, you know?
I'm special and chosen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Those are those are two big words that I hear a lot. I want to feel special. I want to feel chosen.
Yeah. Only want me
Yeah.
and nobody else but me forever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that way my self-esteem is boosted.
Yeah.
And so if you cheat or you're looking at porn or whatever, there goes my self-esteem.
Yeah. Oh, it's so tied up in other people's actions.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard.
Mm-hmm. Very.
Mm.
Hence the need for non-monogamous coaching because
Yeah.
monogamous coaching can't address this.
Yeah. Yeah.
It can't.
Hmm. It's true. I wonder. Okay, I'm gonna ask you this. What is something
Okay.
I like to ask this on every episode when I remember. What is something that anybody can do for free to have
Okay.
a healthier non-monogamous relationship?
What's one thing they can
Yeah,
do
or
for
anything.
free?
Yeah.
Um, hmm, that's such an interesting question. I mean, for me, I believe in taking radical responsibility for your well-being.
Mm,
Your partner
yes.
is not responsible for your well-being. He's not, or she's not. You
Yeah.
are. He's not, it's not his job to make you happy. I mean, he could try, but ultimately, like that's not up to him. That's up to you.
Hmm.
So if he didn't text you back within 24 hours and you're having a nervous breakdown, that's not his problem. That's your problem.
Yeah.
Why are you having a nervous breakdown? His text is that important to you that you can't allow yourself to be happy unless you receive his text message? That's your
Hmm.
problem.
Yeah. That's really good.
If we took radical responsibility for our well-being and our peace, we'd have way, 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 way less arguments
Hmm.
and drama, whether you're in a
Mm.
monogamous or non-monogamous relationship.
Yeah. 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 I have a metamor who uses that a lot. Like, is this a me problem or a you problem? Is this something I need to work on with you, or is this something I need to go work on my own? Yeah. It's so
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Like I practice that because like dealing with a non-monogamous man who had a multitude of women, like he wasn't the type to text me back right away.
Uh-huh.
You know, like his texts were few and far between. And it took me quite a while to realize that, oh, wait, he's not responsible for my happiness. I can't say, well, I'm sad and I'm crying and it's your fault because you didn't text me within the time frame that I wanted you to text me. So it's your fault that I'm unhappy right now. That doesn't work.
Mm. No, I I can hear people right now hearing that and going, well then I just need to go text someone else, or I need to go,
You
right? Like I
can.
need to find another person to fill that space.
Yeah. Well, you can. I mean, you can text as many men or women as you want. I mean, sky's the limit. But I tend to get women who are love addicts,
Yeah.
you know, so they get involved with a man who fucks them really, really, really exceptionally well.
Yeah.
And they become addicted to him.
Mm,
So yeah, they could text 10, 15, 20 other men, but they're not him.
yeah.
So they really want his text.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh. So what do they do? What do you tell them to do?
Take radical responsibility for your well-being.
Yeah. I mean, like,
Because
I hear that and I'm like,
yeah,
yes, absolutely. And I feel like a lot of people hear that and they're like, what does that even mean? I don't understand.
mhm, mhm.
Like, we aren't
Yeah,
taught that.
yeah, yeah. So I'm not going to tell women to bypass the pain. Like,
Yeah.
feel the fucking pain, feel it. Like, yes, you're very sad, you feel rejected, you feel abandoned, you don't know when you're going to hear from him again, you don't know what the hell is going on, your anxiety is through the roof. Oh,
Yeah.
feel that, fucking feel it.
Yeah.
And then when you get all the emotions out and process it, okay, where is this coming from? What the fuck is this? Like, what is going on? Like, why is this having such a major effect on me?
Yeah.
Why am I at the mercy of this one man? What is that? Let's dig into that.
Mm,
And then transmute it,
yeah.
shift it, turn it into power. Okay, I really wanted to receive a text from this man. Why? Because I feel orgasmic when this man texts me. Okay, well, how can you feel orgasmic even without his text?
Yeah.
You got to feel the pain, transmute the pain into pleasure. Then you become more orgasmic. Then you're not dependent on his text. And that's when he's actually more likely to text you.
Uh-huh. That's when you're fucking
It's like,
hot.
yeah, that's what, I don't even, like, I'm so orgasmic. I don't even need your text.
Yeah.
That's when he's going to text.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. 100%.
But men can feel that. They can feel when a woman is depending on them for their happiness,
Yeah.
for their sexual pleasure, for their well-being, and that's a turnoff to just
Mm.
about every man on this planet, because it's like, oh fuck, like, now she's hounding me, you know now she's having a nervous breakdown, like, I can't, like, this is too much.
That. Yep. That's what I see.
Yeah,
So
like,
much.
just because he fucked you real good doesn't mean that you get to depend on him for your well-being.
Mm.
Like, he just helped you to feel what you could have been feeling all along, but because of various traumas and this and that, you became numb, and then here he comes, the catalyst, and now you're digmatized. Now you're just like, oh my god, it's his penis. But no, you had that capability all along.
Yeah.
He just helped you to remember it.
Mm. Yeah.
That's another thing too. That's why I said in my post that it was a non-monogamous man that activated me. It was important for me to say non-monogamous, because I wasn't looking for a relationship with that man.
Yeah.
I was already in a relationship. I wasn't looking for, I wasn't looking for anything. I was just living my life, and then I met him, and then I was like, oh my god, what just happened here? It's like lightning struck. But I didn't want him to be my husband or boyfriend.
Yeah.
I just wanted to fuck him, and that's what I told him. That's what I just want to fuck you.
Yeah. That's so good. Is there
Some men are their job is to fuck you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be the next thing and the next thing and the next thing.
No.
Yeah, I like those ones.
But most women, especially because of monogamous culture, we get the real good dick, and then we think, okay, I gotta turn him into my husband.
Yeah. I'll lock that
I
down.
gotta possess him. I gotta
Yep.
make him mine. And that's where things get real crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's where all the drama and chaos.
Mm-hmm. Majorly.
Yeah. Is there anything that you want to share with the listeners that I haven't asked you?
Mm. I think you touched on everything. But I would say if your spouse or your girlfriend or boyfriend comes to you and they tell you that they are attracted to someone else, don't throw a hissy fit. Just hear them out, hear what they have to say. Have some understanding, have some compassion, because bringing up this type of conversation with your spouse is not easy.
Yeah.
It's really hard. It's scary. It's uncomfortable. Most of us have never seen it modeled. We've never seen our parents have that type of conversation. So we don't even know how to do it. So if your spouse is courageous enough to come to you and say, hey, look, like, I don't really know why I'm feeling this way, but I'm attracted to this other person. I still love you, but I'm attracted to this other person. Like, appreciate the fact that they are speaking their truth.
Yeah.
That takes courage. That takes vulnerability. I'm just so tired of people saying, well, why didn't you just tell the truth? Why didn't you just tell the truth from day one? Well, here's the thing. You don't always know from day one that you're going to want to do non-monogamy. I didn't know from day one.
Yeah.
I was 11 years in when I was like, oh shit, I want to have sex with this other man. I didn't know from day one. So we have to understand that people change over time. Things happen. Just because the first year, second year, third year was amazing doesn't mean that year 10 is amazing. Year 10 might be hell, especially if you have kids.
Yeah.
Okay, raising kids, that's not a joke. That raising kids is hard work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, if you think that things are going to just be the same for like 20, 30 years, and your spouse is not going to be attracted to anyone else, and you're not going to be attracted to anyone else, like, that's delusion.
Yeah. I love that. I have so many people that message me and say, hey, how do I tell my partner that I want
I would say
this or I'm
the
attracted to
first thing
that?
is do your best to assure them that you do love them and you are committed and you're not going to leave.
Yeah.
Like, you're probably going to have to spend a few weeks just reassuring them that you're not going anywhere. You love them. They are your priority.
Yep.
And this other person, you just want to have an experience with them.
Yeah.
But they're not going to replace you.
Yeah. So good. Thank you. I have one more question for you.
Oh.
This one doesn't go on the main podcast. It's only for our supporters of the show on Patreon at patreon.com/not monogamous. And it's called Just the Tip. And it is, what is your favorite or best sex tip? Thank you so much. This is fantastic. I appreciate this conversation so much. That was Lesley Tavernier's Just the Tip, favorite sex tip to be shared with those of you who are a part of our Patreon. Go to patreon.com/not monogamous to become a supporter of the show, and I will absolutely adore you. Bye.